Welcome back to Good Afternoon Ghana. Now, this afternoon, it's starting the week with illegal mining, or what we popularly call galamsey. You notice that for the past about a month, we've been going through a report that was presented by the chairman of the Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining here in Ghana, Professor Frimpong Boateng. It was placed on the table of His Excellency the President, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. After 2 years, the reports leaked, and then media started interrogating the reports. Now, that went on with Professor Frimpong Boateng granting interviews, sharing his opinions here and there, here on Metro TV as well. He spoke live on Good Morning Ghana, saying some things, but that was after he was invited and arrested by the OSP office. After this invitation and arrest, without being granted the self-recognizance bill, a lot of questions have arisen from this happening in this event. The OSP himself has spoken on Joy TV, and some opinions of experts have also come out, and we'll interrogate all that. This afternoon, we're having this discussion with a few members of our country. We have Emmanuel Wilson, who is an anti-corruption campaigner. Inusa Fuseni is a former minister. He was also in charge of the forestry. We'll talk to him about that. And also, another person that we want to speak with is Nana Lawyer Obri Boahen, or you probably known as Nana Obri Boahen. He's a lawyer. This morning when we were talking to him, he was in court. Actually, he is a member of the MPP legal team. Inusa Fuseni was Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. We'll get into the matter pretty shortly, but for now, let's take a break. We'll be back shortly. All right, you're welcome back to the program. So it's Good Afternoon Ghana, and I told you that it is the continuous analysis of what's going on, what's unfolding within the illegal mining activities, which we set up an interministerial committee, and the report was presented onto the table of the President, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. After 2 years, the report leaked. After its leakage, there's been back and forth. The latest is with the OSP and his, I don't know if I should call it rancor, but his event, with Professor Frimpong Boateng. Going forward, we're still interrogating the matter. He has also spoken on TV. We'll get into that. So this afternoon, I have Emmanuel Wilson, who is the chief crusader of Crusaders Against Corruption. He's with me in the studio. Welcome. Good afternoon, Emma. You're doing a good job for Ghana. I must say, we're grateful. Thank you. Thank you.
Really welcoming and humbling to hear this from you. Indeed. It is encouraging when we hear people like you giving us these words of encouragement. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm grateful as well. It's like you're rating me too high. I'm not that high. Right, let's go for a video of OSP himself, Kisi Ajabing, who had spoken and shared his opinion. He was speaking on Joy FM, Joy TV, and shared his opinions on what people have been saying about him and what he had done with Professor Frimpong Boateng.
Respect the credentials of the professor, and I doff off my hat to him. You know very well, you know me personally, you know very well how and my life's trajectory. On another score, I'm an academician myself, and so I respect such people on all scores. I mean, his CV is unbelievable. I respect that, and I applaud him for that. But I have a charge to keep. The charge I have to keep is to the Republic of Ghana and to the public. I have been put in this position to investigate corruption and corruption-related offenses. I've been put in this office to prosecute people who I deem to be culpable for such offenses. I have been put in this office to recover assets for the country. I have been put in this office to prevent corruption. These are the 4 tasks that I have until August 2028. Now, when a case comes before me, first, it's a preliminary investigation. I go under with my officers. Is there any substance to this matter? I'm answering your question. I'll come to it.
Sure.
Is there any substance to this matter? Now, when the preliminary investigation is over, I have certain options. One option is to say, there's no meat in this matter. Let us just file it away. Maybe one day it may not be cold. Another option open to me is that there is a lot of wisdom in opening a full investigation, and so we should do a broader and fuller inquiry into this matter. And this is where we are in terms of the fight against Galamsey. Now, when you're appearing before us, depending on what we deem to be the charges we are envisaging against you, depending on the nature of the evidence and what we deem to be the seriousness of it, we take action appropriately. I will state again, the public and any member of the public has the luxury to consecrate saints. But in consecrating your saints and your heroes, mind you again, I'm stating again, I am your conscience. I am the spirit of the nation, and the office stands for that. In the estimation of the office, there are no saints. In the estimation of the office, there are no heroes.
A technical hitch with the video, but let's still go on, on some of the issues that were espoused by the lawyer, that's OSP. He says that Professor Frimpong Boateng, situation is not an attempt to gag him. He has explained himself in this interview. Franklin Cudjoe slammed the presidency over Frimpong Boateng's arrest, and he said that president of think tank Imani Africa, Franklin Cudjoe, has criticized the president for the growing suspicion among Ghanaians in the aftermath of the arrest of the former chairman of the defunct Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, that's the IMCIM. And also, the special prosecutor, actually, Kisi Ajabing, provided clarifications regarding the operations of his office in his fight against corruption and related offenses, as you heard parts of them in that video we played. We'll still give you, some more, but in the meantime, let me also welcome the other guest who has joined us is it via phone or Zoom? Okay, we have Inusaf Hussaini via phone, and he is former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Okay, I'm told he's via Zoom. All right. Honorable Minister, former Minister, thank you for your time. You're welcome. Good afternoon to you. Okay, I think you have to unmute. You're still muted. Okay, let's try it again. Good afternoon to you, sir. Okay, we're still trying to assist him unmute, and then he can be audible. You're watching Good Afternoon Ghana. Emmanuel, you're welcome once again. Right. So
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Thank you for your time. You're audible now. You're welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana.
Thank you.
You're not with us in studio, so let me just start with you, because these technical hitches can sometimes disappoint us. You must have followed the events unraveling between the OSP and the former chairman of the Interministerial Committee, Professor Frimpong Boateng. Do you think that we are on the right path as far as you having headed the office of the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources?
Well, your question is double-barreled, not so. I mean, because the Frimpong Boateng was the head of the Interministerial Committee against illegal mining. The OSP derives its mandate from the Act 959, which says he has the mandate to investigate corruption and corruption-related offenses. And so they derive their mandates from two separate, if you want, positions. Now, the fight against corruption, the fight against illegal small-scale mining, or Galamsey, is a fight against corruption. I have no doubt in my mind that corruption plays and continues to play a very important role in frustrating our fight to bring the menace under control. And so, insofar as the special prosecutor has interest in unraveling the corruption involved or in the activities of small-scale miners, and also identifying and prosecuting those who are behind the acts of corruption and the destruction of the environment, is definitely on the right path. I've also heard people say that, well, because Frimpong Boaten was arrested, not charged, but granted 2 million bail, that seems to be improper. And I don't think so. I think that Article 14 of the Constitution lays that to rest. And so, yes, the special prosecutor is is doing what he's supposed to do under law. It's just the circumstances of the case. The circumstances of the case. And now this is a case in which Frimpong Boaten, as head of the Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining, produced a report 2 years before the report was leaked. The report did not see the light of the day until it was leaked on another social media platform. And then things broke loose. Then Frimpong Boaten then appeared to attract the eye of the president, and things have been taking different turns. And so people are looking at the circumstances surrounding the invitation, arrest, detention, and restriction of Frimpong Boaten by the special prosecutor, and are reading political conspiracies into the invitation.
And maybe a denial of a self-recognizance bill.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that is another leg, because it appears that all other political appointees who were invited by the security agencies for the purposes of investigating alleged crimes committed by them were given self-recognizance bail. Frimpong Boaten appears to have been treated differently. He had to call a friend to come to the OSP and go inspect his building for him to post a 2 million cedi bail for Frimpong Boaten. So he's been treated as a common prisoner, and that itself seems to violate certain provisions of the Constitution.
Exactly.
Now,
and
again,
yeah, I'm listening.
I can hear you. Yes, again, you find that Frimpong Boaten himself, I mean, has been a very useful and responsible person in this country. No one says that he's a saint. No one says that he's an angel. But clearly, what he has done in the production of the report, which was meant for the consumption of the chief of staff, has clearly thrown some light on why we are finding it difficult to bring the menace under control. He should be hailed and not sanctioned, and not punished, or not vilified. And that's the concern of many people.
If you look at the whole unfolding of events, people are saying that the report itself he presented as a chairman of the committee sort of is being ignored, and he is facing allegations that have been leveled against him, and some others, and the report itself has been ignored. Is that what you think is going on, or the OSP is on the course of preliminary investigations, maybe before he gets into details?
My dear, you don't need to look into the crystal ball to appreciate the fact that Frimpong Boaten's report has been treated with contempt. I mean, there have been no attempt, real or putative, to deal with the issues captured in the report of Frimpong Boaten. Frimpong Boaten himself was not a busybody. He did not just produce the report. The report was requested for by the Chief of Staff. And the letter requested Prof. Boateng to produce a report of his stewardship of the Interministerial Committee stated that it was intended to guide future action. And that report is pregnant with allegations, information, and leads. And the least that we had expected government to do was to take the report and run with it. But today, all we are seeing is that the author of the report is being vilified. I mean, it's a calculated attempt to witch hunt him and hunt him down. And that is clearly not good for anybody with the intentions to fight illegal small-scale mining or illegal mining in this country.
I suppose you've had the chance to go through excerpts of the report.
Yes, I've read the whole report.
Great. Are there some sections that you can relate to? You know, you've been in office, you have an idea how it has been happening in the field. Just last night, I personally had, received some whistleblowing stories of Etiwa forest and activities that are going on as we speak. Are there some excerpts of that report that you can relate to, that you think that we have to pay attention to and stop this, act of looking like just hounding Professor Frimpong Boateng?
So when you read the report, you'll be left in no doubt that that report was an honest assessment, honest, candid assessment of Frimpong Boateng of what had been going on. And so you come to understand.
How did you get to that conclusion?
That conclusion is evident. Refs IFSA, the document talks for itself. Frimpong Boateng says, look, I had even reason to warn the president in the presence of the former chief executive officer of the Forestry Commission, and told the president that he represented a veritable threat to the forest reserves of this country. Tie in that with the earlier calls when Sir John was in office of the chiefs and people of the Wassa area saying that Sir John was mining in the forest reserve. You see clearly, you can tie the loose ends. You now have that evidence. Because we had known, or we had heard of a press conference of the chiefs of Wassa area say that, well, Sir John was mining. He came out and flatly denied that the matter died or went underground. Frimpong Boateng resurrects that matter. So you can connect it. You can connect one and one. We also know that between 2017 and 2018, there was a total ban on mining in the small-scale sector. Total, complete and total ban. But we are also aware of the fact that between that period, 2017 and 2018, Ghana exported the highest amount of gold from the small-scale mining sector. The question is, how did that happen? The answer is in the report. Powerful people close to government had insurance, had the license to mine illegally with impunity under the protection of the police. He says, oh, but why were the police protecting? Frimpong Boateng provides an answer. Yes, when we confronted and arrested people who were mining, we received representations from people closer to government to intercede on behalf of those who had been arrested. So you can see clearly that many questions that were agitating our minds were answered in the report.
So we're still probing and waiting for the OSP probably to turn attention. He's invited a few people. There are some court activities that are attempting to stop the OSP from probing certain persons. I'm sure you know about that as well. But the OSP seem to be talking away the suspicion that he's just politically hounding Professor Frimpong Boateng. At this point in time, he is our topmost person we're looking up to in investigating any corrupt activities as far as this illegal mining is concerned. What do we do?
So, as a lawyer and a citizen of this country, and as a journalist, I think that all of us must be interested in what the special prosecutor is doing. We must track, invest time and energy in flowing the processes. Ask questions when we are not so clear about what he's doing. If we see that the special prosecutor is pandering to the dictates of a higher body or higher institution or higher person in holding these people and trying to get them to capitulate in the face of this damning report, then we as civil society have a duty to raise our voices. Evil only thrives when good people decide not to speak.
Keep quiet.
So let's follow the process. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. I have my doubts, but I'm not going to air them now. But let's give him opportunity to demonstrate that he means exactly what he says, and that the justice is a collected virtue. It doesn't look at Frimpong Boateng. It doesn't look at Inus Officini. It looks at nobody but the acts that are the subject matter of the investigations.
I'm grateful, Inus Officini. We're arranging a extensive interview with you later, so we'll leave it here. Thank you for speaking to us. Let me also we'll turn attention to Emmanuel Wilson in the studio with me, Chief Crusader, Crusaders Against Corruption. Emmanuel,
yes, I am.
This is a quote from OSP. It says that there's a way. Let me start from here. The nature of how you come to us is very crucial and very important. If you are my confidential source, whistleblower, there's a way I'll contact you, and there's a way I will invite you. There's a way I will talk to you because I need information from you. But if you are appearing before me as a suspect, there's a way I do. I do not invite you. I direct you to show up because it is a criminal investigation. And you are directed to show up. And in the direction to show up, you are specifically told what we are investigating, the subject matter of what we're investigating, he emphasized. And then the direction for you to come. We will tell you that you're a person who is considered necessary for the investigation, and there is a specific direction for you to show up and specific address for the interview. Then you are told of your rights. Attention to this side. You're told of your rights. That when you're coming, you may come with the counsel of your choice, according to Mr. Ajabing. Whistleblowers are not required to appear with their lawyers, whereas suspects are instructed to bring their legal representatives, which Professor Frimpong Boateng actually said that he went with his friend.
Yes.
Right.
Annie, thank you very much. Let me start off, before I get to the special prosecutor's comments, by saying that, unfortunately, we are living in a country where the system seems to be embracing corruption and corrupt practices and rather victimizing individuals who are engaged in integrity and want to fight the right cause. It's quite unfortunate.
But let me ask this question.
Yes.
Are these persons who are, posing as though they're fighting corruption, not pretending to be fighting corruption?
Are you making reference to individuals and not institutions, right?
Individuals, yeah.
Well, there are some that are posing to be fighting corruption, clearly so. There are some that seems to be, they quickly tend to be an anti-corruption crusader only when they realize the system has treated them unfairly. And so most of the times you see individuals who will instantly change and be pretending to be protecting the image and the interest of the country. But when you dig deep into it, you realize that it's simply because they are having some personal fight.
And along the way, they are also culpable.
Exactly. So that is also there. But I'm talking about genuine persons who have demonstrated clearly that they are in to fight corruption, and the system seems to be fighting them, especially those that seems to be holding official positions. And a typical example is our own uncle, Mr. Domlevo, Martin Amidou, and some few others. Now, having said that, It is also important for us to know, the other day, and a few times we've had opportunity to talk about the effect of galamsey, because this has to do with galamsey. And we've talked about how galamsey is affecting this country. But for the purposes of this conversation, I just want to make reference to one effect of galamsey that a lot of people seem not to be giving attention to. You see, when the places where Ghana Water Company harvest water and treat for all of us to use, in the process of treating the water, the turbidity of the water, the range of it is supposed to be 5 NTU. That's the unit. Now, if you look at, and if you have sources in Ghana Water, as I do, you can contact them and they will confirm this. Instead of us recently having 5 NTU as units, we are currently having, they harvest water, and you see in the water 3,000.
What?
3,000.
From 5 to 3,000?
From 5 to 3,000. There are some sources, they harvest water in this country, and when they test the turbidity, it is 5,000. There are other places as high as 10,000. And that is the kind of country we are building. And so when people think that the issue of galamsey is just a child's play, we should know that we are not only trading ourselves or killing ourselves as a country, we are also crashing the future of this country, because water is everything. And that is...
What's the guarantee that even with 5,000, 10,000, 3,000 NTU, we are able to purify the water?
That is where the problem lies.
Before we use it.
That is where the problem lies. And so the individuals who are in Ghana Water Company and are treating our waters will tell you that they are now using so many complicated and complex chemicals, which under normal circumstances they are not supposed to use. The question is the side effects of those chemicals.
This is an information from the Ghana Water Company.
That's what I'm telling you.
So they're using chemicals they are not supposed to use.
Not they are not supposed to use, but chemicals that ordinarily they wouldn't have used, because it is too high.
Expensive.
It's expensive and it's too high. You understand? But because of the range that we find our water system now,
the range of turbidity
in it, they now have to just imagine from 5, which is supposed to be the range, the normal. Now we harvest water and we are seeing 3,000, 5,000, some as high as 10,000 turbidities. And you see, the effect of it is that not only is it affecting our livelihood or serving as a danger to our livelihood, but it is also affecting us even economically. And that is why if you look at the PURC, their press release dated May 18, 2023, which I have a copy in my hand, where they were talking about 2023 second quarter tariff review decision for water services. The reason for giving this review, and they said the review was taking effect, which has already taken effect. It started from June 1st, 2023, upward review. The reason is this: in taking this decision, the Commission took cognizance of the cost of electricity, increased volume/cost of chemicals for raw water treatment, the Ghanaian cedi, US dollar exchange rate, and inflation. But what is so much of interest to me has to do with the volume and the cost of chemicals that they have to use to treat this. And it is simply a direct correlation, has a direct correlation with how galamsey is affecting our country. And that is why it hurts me that over this past period, we have spent so much money, taxpayers' money, in the name of fighting galamsey. But from all indication, it looks clearly that even our leaders themselves, talking about the president and those leading us, they themselves have exhibited clearly that they are not even committed to this fight of galamsey. And not only is it affecting us in terms of we causing financial loss to the state, but it is also affecting us in terms of we wasting our time and our energy, even lives. Look at some of our security men who have lost their lives as a result of galamsey. Now, the worst part of it all is that it is day in, day out. The fight against galamsey, we are losing it speedily. And for me, I have lost absolute confidence in anything that has to do with fighting galamsey. Bringing the issue to what is happening now, whether or not the special prosecutor is witch hunting someone or not witch hunting someone. And it is so good that you asked that question about whether or not individuals who are fighting galamsey, fighting corruption, whether they are genuinely doing that. And in my preparation for this, I had some few questions, and I had 1 or 2 questions also for Professor Frimpong Boateng. Ask him clearly. I listened to his interview, and he told us all that even the report that he submitted to the presidency, he took some. It is not the full report. He took some from it. So the question that comes into my mind is that what are the things that he took out of it? And who was he protecting for which he decided to take some out of it? Is it genuinely for the cause of the country? If it is for the cause of the country, why then did he decide to choose and say that, yes, I am fighting Galamsey, I am the head of it, this is my report. Annie has done this. Emmanuel Wilson has done this. Why is it that I, in reporting or submitting the report, decided to take away Emmanuel Wilson's part or decided to take away Annie's part? It also questions, and that is why your question is very legitimate, whether or not most of these individuals who instantly turns around in the name of protecting the interests of this country, whether they are genuinely doing it. And if they are genuinely doing it, how come over the past period, even when they were in office, they had all the opportunity to do that? Yes.
Videos that emerged claiming his voice was the one on the background saying party Hiansika.
Yes.
You know, all those things have not been investigated. There are issues of his children, which Randy asked him on live interview, is your son involved in Galamsey? And he said no. His answer was no, and that everything the son was doing was legitimate, something of that nature. So if there are allegations, I think it's okay for the special prosecutor to be investigating you. But why does it look like the special prosecutor too, suddenly, you are now interested 2 years after the report has been put on your table?
Beautiful. So that is just a tip for the Professor Frimpong Boateng. And when we have time, I'll also discuss a bit about the presidency himself. But for now, let's dwell on the special prosecutor. You see, and I'm happy you made mention of that. No one is questioning the legitimacy of the special prosecutor. I don't think anyone has ever done that, ever since this incident took place or started. We have every right to question the process and the procedure. And I think by and large, anyone you listen to talks about the process and the procedure. And I would want to start by quoting Lord Chief Justice Hayward in the case of R versus Sussex Justices Espati McCarthy. Now, this is what the Lord Justice said, or Chief Justice said. It is not merely of some importance, but is of fundamental importance that justice should not only be done, but should manifestly and undoubtedly be seen to be done.
Yeah.
And that is very important in law. So it is not the end result that really matters. We must put the same premium on the process. And so when your process casts doubt in the minds of people, the end result is flawed. And that is why we are having so much challenges with the special prosecutor. Because I'm not questioning, and I don't think anyone has questioned the end result, what he intends to achieve. But we are interested in the process. And there are so many instances where
you must be seen rendering justice.
Exactly, rendering justice. And there are so many instances, and I'll go through some of the instances, where he has really, through his own actions and inactions, communicated to us that there are some question marks surrounding the process. I have listened to his interview, and you gave a fantastic quote from him, talking about whistleblowers. The other things that he made mention of, which got my attention, was that he referred to himself as the conscience and the spirit of the nation.
Right.
I don't know what he understands.
I heard that too.
I don't know if he understands that.
I was lost.
I really don't know if he understands that.
I mean, if you're watching Special Prosecutor, I was lost by that statement, really.
Then he went further to say that
he's the conscience and the spirit.
Yes, of the nation.
Of the nation. Is that not like bigger than the president?
I don't even understand. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if he really understands those words that he himself used. You know. Then he says that he's immune to political pressure, but not to traditional pressure. Indeed, he made reference to during his vetting. and said that one of the things he said at the vetting was that he's scared of traditional leaders, the influences of traditional leaders, and not political pressures. These two, plus what he made mention of regarding Whistleblowers Act and how he deals with people who he perceived to be whistleblowers, I'm going to put all together and then raise some few questions for us to look at. If indeed the special prosecutor, and this is, this Frimpong Boateng's thing, Professor Frimpong Boateng's thing, it started from when he submitted a report. That was where the whole thing started from.
Yes.
Mind you, the report that he submitted it's over 2 years now. It's about 2.5 years or so now when that report was submitted.
Yeah.
The question is, why didn't he invite the president to submit the report, which the president himself has been hiding for the past 2 and so years now? And I'm talking to a special prosecutor.
The president was allegedly hiding the report.
Oh, my senior mentioned a term. The fact speaks for itself.
But the fact that he hasn't attended to it doesn't mean
2.5 years. And this is the same president who is telling us every second that we are fighting Galamsey.
Right, but I'm acting like a court. I cannot say that he was hiding
Act like a court. That is fine. It is good for you to act like a court. But you are a court, I have my opinion, and I'm expressing my opinion. Okay. My opinion is that categorically the president decided to hide the reports for the past 2 years.
But hold on with the hiding. Let's take a quick breather. We'll come back. Okay, Wilson, you're welcome back. It's good afternoon, Ghana. Yeah, you can continue.
So I was talking about the president deciding to hide the reports. This is a president who has made all of us to believe, which for me, I've come to that conclusion that he was misleading all of us, to believe that he was committed to the fight against Galamsey. But when such an important report came, a report that surely brings out so many things that we can use as a lead to a large extent, have an impact and effect on the fight against Galamsey, he decided to hide it over 2 years, till certain portions decided to leak. Now, when the leakage took place, and this leakage took place some months back, when it started, was the special prosecutor in this country. He has that mandate, just like he invited Professor Frimpong to come with some documents. He had that mandate to call for that report and to question the president why the president decided to hide it and not to allow individuals or state institutions to work on it. The other question that also comes out is that there are some individuals that were mentioned in the report, which includes the sitting vice president, as being someone who is currently involved in Galamsey matters. Why is it that the special prosecutor...
Details of the report are so serious that when you think of it, you think that chasing Professor Frimpong Boateng in some, side issues. Yeah, they are just considered as side issues.
So
because they're very detailed individuals and powerful individuals that when you chase that, then corruption is seen to be
fantastic.
Against.
So you see the process we are talking about.
Yes.
Why is it that when the leakage took place and all of us got copies of it, we saw some of it, why is it that the special prosecutor has not been able to invite the sitting vice president, even not for arrest, just to invite for conversation and interrogation? Has something of that sort happened? No. Why is it that when one of your sister media houses did an investigation on Galamsey, and it came out that Akonta Mining, which is being headed or owned by an executive member of the ruling government, the special prosecutor has failed to invite, what's his name, Muntumi also, for an investigation to take place. Now, isn't it so ironical that individuals that have been mentioned in this report are the same individuals that the president had an opportunity to address the nation some time back in the name of IMF COVID-19 updates, and decided to dedicate some portion of the time to praise the vice president describing him as his backbone. This is someone who has been allegedly mentioned in such a criminal matter. Instead of us quickly creating the environment for investigation to take place, what is happening to the special prosecutor that he has refused? Is it that he is scared or what? That he has refused to invite these individuals to commence an investigation?
I'm capturing the words right. He said he's not compromised politically.
That is where my I don't even know where to use the word, my confusion is. Because it looks like the things he was talking about himself, and like the quotes I just made, where he said he's the conscience and the spirit of the nation, and says that he's not scared of political pressure.
He's immune.
Immune.
Yes.
I mean, maybe he can look for some toddlers and be telling them this as one of the stories we were listening
Is
to
deceiving you?
By the fireside.
Oh,
you understand?
Wow.
Because you cannot come to me and tell me this, and your actions suggest differently, and you expect me to go by.
We sat here and we all agree that he has to do his work anyway. Regardless the mighty or names that are in the reports, he is still following due course according to what's on his table.
The work must be done, Annie. And these are some of the things I wanted us to look at. Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana, Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana, Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana. So this one was a petition that we submitted, a petition for an investigation into publications made by Honorable Kennedy Japan on Asasi Radio. And it had to do with Honorable Kennedy Japan, Henry Cotti, Honorable Amoakwata, the Chief of Staff, Adjoa Safo. We submitted this petition to the Office of the Special Prosecutor on the 23rd of February, 2022. When we did this submission, some of the media houses got it and published it. I was in my office one day and I got a call from one person who is still in government, from the Office of the President. And when he called me, he started laughing that he has seen this petition on social media, and what are we expecting from it? Then I said that, of course, we are expecting the special prosecutor to take an action. Then he laughed again. Then he asked me, do I know how the special prosecutor was appointed? I should go and find out the special prosecutor's relationship
with
Kennedy Japan. And so, am I really expecting that the special prosecutor will act on this? This is a call I got from someone who is still working at the presidency. Now, I just brushed it aside. I said, okay, we are still waiting for it. We waited, this 23rd of February, 2022. We waited 16th of March, 2022, a month on. We wrote a letter reminding the special prosecutor of this petition. Annie, from 2022 till date, not even a single letter coming from the Office of the Special Prosecutor acknowledging receipt of our petition. Not to talk of even inviting us for us to help him to go through this petition. 2022. Should I believe or should I be tempted?
As a conscience and the spirit of the nation.
As a conscience and the spirit of the nation, who is immune from political pressure. Should I believe in what the man called and told me? I think so. 2 years on. Here we are. We wrote a petition to the special prosecutor on the 18th of November 2019. Petition into the purchase of 200 units intercity one-way buses from Messieurs Lianon Wanzhou Automobile by Metro Mass Transport. 2019, we added all the documents, the initial investigation we did, we added everything to it. 2019 till date. Not even a single letter acknowledging receipt of this. And we are here. And yet the special prosecutor gets an opportunity and comes to sit in front of all of us, forgetting that I am part of the audience. And he tells us that we should believe him, that he's immune from political pressures. And he comes to tell us that he is the spirit and the conscience of this nation.
let's wrap up. I mean, our time is up.
Let me just say something about Frimpong Boateng's own. Remember when Frimpong Boateng was invited? First, he wasn't arrested. He was invited.
Invited, yes.
The special prosecutor created an impression that it was during the conversation that he told Frimpong Boateng that we've arrested you. That is not true. Look, I'm telling you on authority, when Frimpong Boateng got to the special prosecutor's office, the first word, before they could even say welcome, good afternoon, or whatever, the first word that came was that you are under arrest. Look for someone who will bail you after our conversation.
Even on invitation.
Even on invitation. Then the Professor Frimpong Boateng asked, why are you arresting me? And this, I have written it so that I will not forget why he said he's been arrested. He said, we are investigating corruption and corruption-related activities at the IMCIM. This is the IMCIM, mind you, was closed about 2 years ago. Its activities came to an end about 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Today you are here saying that you are investigating. You've arrested me. On what ground? Charges? You can't even give a specific charge. Who arrests and say that I'm investigating on corruption and corruption-related activities? Who does that? What does that mean?
But do we know the details of this corruption and corruption-related
That is the question, because even Frimpong Boateng himself was not told that.
Yes.
He himself was not told. So the special prosecutor himself did not even know the reason for arresting. But you see, if you want us to conclude, my conclusion is this, and I will say it blatantly as it is because of where I sit and the kind of information I get. People may want to give the special prosecutor the benefit of the doubt and say whatever they want to say. Look, this thing happened simply because Frimpong Boateng professor published an open letter. Frimpong Boateng's response to Mr. Gabi Ochredakun's interview on City FM. I don't know if you have a copy of this.
Yes.
People are upset that Professor Frimpong Boateng will come out publicly to make these expositions that he did.
But he's been sued by Gabi too.
Yes, he's been sued by Gabi too. And remind you, it was after the suing, I think a day or two after, that the special prosecutor also invited him. And ended up saying that I have arrested. It was just, I think, 2 days after. The arrest actually, people thought that the arrest took place some days back. The arrest actually took place in the month of May, 16th of May. Go to my Facebook page. On the 18th, 2 days after May, I gave a summary of what transpired at the special prosecutor's office of May. My conclusion is simple. This is just intended to intimidate Professor Frimpong Boateng. And mark today I am over here, mark it. Special prosecutor will not be able to come out with any specific thing against Frimpong Boateng. Mark it.
Emmanuel Wilson is Chief Crusader of Crusaders Against Corruption. We earlier on spoke with the former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Ines Afiseni. We were not able to get through Nana Obri though, but we will do that since the issue is still a running story as far as Professor Frimpong Boateng and the OSP office is concerned. It's all about illegal mining, so we'll follow through and always come through with updates. My name is Ania Fompof. I'm grateful for your time. This has been Good Afternoon, Ghana. Emmanuel, thank you.
Thank you so much.